to the main event.
Welcome to the main event.
Welcome everybody to the first ever episode of the Off the Top Rope podcast.
TJ,
If you are new,
you didn't press record.
it's recording. Yeah.
It does not say it's recording for me.
I was like, what? But yeah, we're recorded. But anyway, if you are new here, I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am the messiah of Wrestle Talk. I am TJ freaking Gatsby, aka Discount Montez Ford, TikTok's #1 wrestling gimmick copycat. And as always, my partner in crime, he is the chairman and CEO of the Fuck Roman Reigns Society, the king of Skisku. He is the star before time, Zay 3.0. Zay, how you doing? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, you know. It's been a great life of screaming fuck Roman Reigns from the top of the hills. And, you know, I'm ready for this lovely interview.
That's right. And the man below me who is rocking what is soon to be my possession, he is the director of artistic design for the Main Event Players. Yes, that is right. He is our dad. He is none other than the masked phenomenon, Weaver! Weaver, what's good, man?
It's me, it's the DAD. What's up, guys?
Oh my God. Yes. We got a good one for y'all today. We will be interviewing none other than Rusty Livings. But first, have you ever worked out and your energy drink causes a crash? Well, do we have the solution for you? If you go to w.gg and use the code MEP, you can get 10% off your entire order. Weaver here has had it, Zay has had it, and they can testify it is amazing product and gives you no crash. Right, guys? Oh, Weaver's got it in his hand right now. Yeah.
100%. Oh, yeah.
So yes, use code MEP
I've
for
even
10%
got the
off your order.
I even customized my shaker. So
Oh, I need to do that when I get mine. But also, we want to give out a shout out to our boys in the Main Event Players. Phil, we met with Outside the Brand with all your weekly wrestling reviews. Tommy, Darian, and Steven with Bad Takes, Better Conversations. And also, if you're ever looking for tickets to any event, go to SeatGeek.com and use any of their codes for 10% off your order. And if it is your first time using SeatGeek, use code OTB for $20 off your first purchase. There are the codes right there. Loft Not Famous, Russell Spot, and Steven Sports. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Weaver, I'm going to give you the spotlight so you can set this up Justin Roberts style.
all right, guys. So I don't really know that I can take that mantle of mass phenomenon given who our guest is today. He is one half of the Idaho Wrecking Crew. He is a 3-time Wrestle Club Potato Bowl champion. He is none other than the Outlaw Rusty Livings.
What's up, the Outlaw Rusty Livings? You will know my name is the Outlaw when I run this freight train over you.
Yeah. Rusty, how you doing,
Coming
man?
Doing good. How are you guys? Did I hear you right that this is the inaugural episode?
Yes, it is. Episode #1.
Oh, and what a good first episode it's going to be. Let me tell you all about it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, how
we're
are
gonna
you
kick
guys
this
doing?
off. I'm doing good. We had a busy day ahead of us. Had work because streaming can't do it all for right now. So I had work. We got this wonderful thing going. Zay and I recorded a couple things, and then we have our draft after this as well. So that's gonna be intense because our group members get really wild with
Yeah,
it.
heck yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So guys, what about y'all? How y'all been?
Doing good, man. I mean, I literally just got back from work, so I'm I'm here. I'm chugging my W.
Okay.
I'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Can,
I'm
can I
doing.
just point out how awesome that sentence is that you're chugging your W?
Chugging the W. That might have to be our tagline from now on. That might have to be the
That's our new
tagline.
tagline, though. That yeah.
Yeah, chugging. I'm gonna write that down too. But yeah, so when Weaver told me about this, I was excited because in my head I was like, "We're really doing it. We're interviewing wrestlers now. Like, we're making a name for ourselves." And it's insane to think about that. Because what Weaver told me, you had just finished wrestling before this, correct?
I wrestled just last weekend in Idaho at the Dia de los Niños event for the kids. It was put on by the Boise Public Library. This coming weekend, I'm going to be at Devotion Championship Wrestling in Salt Lake City for their May Day event at the LINKTREE Studios.
Yeah. Tell us more about that event. Tell us more about it.
Yep.
The May Day event is their annual May event at their home arena. We call it LINKTREE Studios. It's a very up close and personal atmosphere, similar to what you would get with like a PWG, a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Um, the May Day event is usually kind of a tribute to the troops. May Day, May Day. I'm not 100% sure about the matches that they've got. They're going to do kind of a lottery. Once everybody's there, everybody puts their name in the hat, and then they're going to be screaming Mayday once I climb over that rope.
Hey, if I was in the Salt Lake area, I'd make sure that I'm doing whatever I can to get to the show. Especially the
Oh,
fact that they're putting all the
I've
names in a lottery too.
already got my front row seat, man.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Featuring other names like Manny Lemon, Brett Buff Shea, who's been on NWA Power just recently. Manny Lemons travels all over the place. I mean, I go there and people know my name, but I'm still awestruck in a way to share the locker room without those guys.
Mm, Glad to hear it. So Rusty, how did you? Because we hear all the different stories about how people got their start in wrestling. What about yours? How did you get your start? What drew you to wrestling?
So about 7 years ago, the guy that I'm tag team partner with right now, James Grimm, him and I have been friends since we were little kids. But about 7 years ago, I was at a grocery store and I saw a flyer for an upcoming independent promotion in Idaho, where Idaho is already kind of a black hole of professional wrestling. Anyways, we went there and we watched this event. And after the show, we just kind of sat there in silence for a minute and we looked at each other and we looked at the ring. And at the same time, almost just in synchronicity, said, I dare you. I don't think you got the guts to go in there and do it. I dare you to do it. They're like, no, man. No, you know what? We can't do that. There's no way. No, I dare you to do it. And so, sure enough, my buddy and I, we hung out. We helped clean, just two randos cleaning up after the show. And we snuck backstage and we talked to the promoter and said, hey, we're interested. We're in. We're fully devoted to this. What do we got to do? And the trainer, Garabai, looks at me and says, I just had my nose broken by a super kick. Can you handle that? And of course, yeah, I can take a super kick, sure. And that was it. We were in.
That is
wow.
wild. Just can you take a broken nose from a super kick? I feel like I love to think that I want to be wrestler, but I feel like if I got told that, part of me would be like, "Are we sure we want to do this?" But the fact that you're just like so with it, you're like, "Oh, fuck yeah, we're doing this." I fucking
Oh,
love that.
I have a question following up to that.
yeah.
Now I understand the feeling of yeah, I can do it. I'm someone who's passionate about wrestling myself, and I have a question about the actual training process. How did you feel mentally going through that process, and how would you describe it to someone going into it?
That's actually a really good question because I feel like not enough gets like not enough attention gets paid to that when everybody decides that they want to start wrestling. Once he said that I could join Idaho Wrestle Club and start training, I I looked at myself in the mirror and said that if I was going to share a locker room with these guys, that I have to, no excuses, look like them. I have to be in their shoes if I'm going to share the locker room, if I'm going to be taken seriously. And so I knew from that day forward that, like, I joke with my friends that I have reinvented the dad bod, because that's essentially what it is. I'm a father of 4, and from that day I took my nutrition serious. I joined a gym. I train 5 days a week. I work out 5 days a week, and I take it probably more serious than anybody I've ever met on the road at my level.
Going off of that, you said you just mentioned you're a father of 4. So what's the work balance life like with that? Because we hear the stories of wrestlers when they first have their kids. They're immediately, all right, we're back to training. Kids are coming on the road with me. So what's that like for you? How do you handle the work balance life?
Sometimes it's tough. I work all day. I go to work at 8 in the morning. I usually get off at about 6:30 at night. So it's a pretty long day. I refer to it as I go to work before everybody opens and I leave after everybody closes. And then I go to training right after work, and then I come home, and that's usually my family time, and it's tough. The show time, I like to drive to these shows, so it's usually like an 8 to 10 hour drive, and sometimes the kids want to go and sometimes they don't, unfortunately. And my wife has actually been pretty cool about it, going with me or just letting me go with the guys, but as my kids get older, I'm trying to encourage them to get into something like this more as I build connections to other companies. But it is hard. It's something that you've really got to be ready for. Some of the students that we have here, they don't last because they step into the ring and they expect, even in their first day of training, that the lights are going to flash and people are going to cheer their name. But no, man, you got to put in 2 to 3 hours at least 3 times a week to do this. And then we've got to set up shows, and that's an entire Saturday. That's from like 8 a.m. Saturday morning until you're the last one leaving, because you got to help tear down or whatever. And they aren't ready for that. Some guys can't do it. And it is tough. It is tough to keep that balance, but I think I've gotten it down pretty well.
So speaking of training,
So I think
what was it like that first day? Oh, sorry, you go. All right. What was it like that first
honestly,
day of training?
My question is a little different. No.
Okay, let's go with Weaver.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had a question from Weaver yet.
Oh, you're good. I was literally just gonna ask about the story of your mask, because as a mask collector myself, so.
Oh, okay. So I have a tendency to ramble on if you guys need to cut me off or whatever. But so my mask, I designed it myself. This one I didn't make. I've got a good gear guy. Can I plug his name?
Yeah, go for it.
So Paul Baker Jr., he lives out in Florida. I found him on Facebook, and this mask he made, it's phenomenal. Probably the best mask. But when I first started, I knew I was going to wear a mask. I grew up watching Azteca Lucha on Telemundo down in the basement with tinfoil on my rabbit ears, So that's what I grew up with. I knew I wanted it. So I made my first mask. I downloaded a pattern to make a lucha hood. I glued a latex mask to the front and painted a skull on it. And that was the first incarnation of Outlaw Rusty Livings. I was a bad guy. If I saw something I wanted, I was coming to take it. No one was going to stop me kind of attitude. And then as time went on, I decided, I wanted to be a face. I've got kids. I want to encourage other kids, and so I came up with a design. I was racking my brain, and I repainted the mask, and I had the idea of kind of a like Pennywise the Clown mixed with the Jack Skellington kind of paint job, and I had painted it up. And I'm a big Halloween guy. My
Yeah.
day job is an annual
Same.
Halloween production. It's the largest Halloween production in Idaho, the Haunted World. But we're not talking about that. But that's kind of how the mask got started, and then it's just kind of evolved over time. But in my collection, and I think I've even shown it in a couple of my promos, I've got 30 some masks that I've collected from all of the different towns that I've gone to.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked about the mascot. I've been thinking about it this whole time. Just like that is like the coolest fucking mask I've seen in a hot minute. Like it is amazing. Love all the attention to detail, especially the Jack Skellington part. That is the Nightmare Before Christmas has become one of my most favorite Disney movies in recent light. Like, look at that, y'all. Look at that. I'm
It
gonna
has
zoom in on
some
you so
it
you
has
can get
some
into
really
it.
amazing
second.
details with the gold outlines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That looks really good contrasting with
Oh,
the
yeah.
purple mohawk. It's a very
yep.
aesthetically great looking mask.
It really is. That
Thank
is
you.
Oh yeah.
that is insane.
And I've got like this one has the purple mohawk, and I wear tights that are purple flames with it. And then I've got one with a red mohawk, and the tights are red flames. So depending on the vibe of the crowd or who I'm going against, the type of match, it's either black and purple or white and red.
2K creators, get to work. Get to work,
Yeah.
2K creators.
Yeah.
This is insane. But
Oh, TJ, you know I'm already working on it. You know I'm already
oh
working on
hell
it.
yes.
Oh yeah, that's all. Like, thank you, Weaver.
Yes. Because we're definitely gonna have to put that in
Of
the
course.
main event wrestling universe. We have to. Yeah.
Now, to bring it back slightly
Of
to
course.
your work-life balance you were speaking on, I'm gonna ask a very generic question. How would you feel about your children getting into the business, and is that something you would ever explore with them?
Uh, yes, I definitely am 100% supportive of it. Um, that is something that I would actually prefer that I get into them with, because there's a lot of you spend a lot of time traveling. There's a lot of hotel life, and in a way, even when you're on the independent circuit, it is like a little taste of fame. And when you're young and people are cheering your name and following you to your car and wanting autographs and pictures, it can go to your head. You know what I mean? And talking to your son over the phone, telling him, "Hey, man, maybe you shouldn't go to the room with that girl. They just not the same as like being there and like, hey, let's stay focused." um, I do tell my kids that like Idaho Wrestle Club was a great place to start training. But if you want to have an opportunity to make it to one of the three big companies, ROH, AEW, or WWE, get yourself to a major training camp and get those names behind you. And I will help you do that. I will do whatever I can. My whole purpose was to create doorways, to create relationships, to help my kids, step up. And if that's what they're interested in, then I am all in.
Nice. So what was your first day of training like?
Okay, so my Halloween production, the Haunted World, we had an empty shop, and when I joined Wrestle Club, they didn't actually have a place to set up the ring, and so I said, well, hey, you know what? My contribution to the club, let's set up in the shop, and so it was in my shop, and my best friend and I, we were in the ring. We had learned our roles for the first day, and then the trainer had left, but the ring's at my house, and I didn't. I'm like a kid in a candy shop, I've got the golden ticket, and so we're playing around, and we were doing the classic 10 punches in the corner, right? And I got to 9, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna jump off backwards and then punch him in the face really good, and I was on the mid rope. I hit him that ninth time, and I jumped off backwards, and I landed and blew out my right knee. Full on, passed out, blacked out. It hurt so bad. I just remember coming to on the mat screaming, and that was my first day of training. And then to go on from there, I had this like big mechanical knee brace, and I had learned pretty much everything for the first 6 months with limited mobility, like 10% mobility in my right leg. So ducking clotheslines, doing the rolls, trying to do small package pins, scoop slams,
Oh,
learning the basics with literally no right leg. It was nuts.
that is insane. And a lot of people will probably take that as a sign like, I shouldn't do this. But the fact that you stuck with it, and not only stuck with it, but even with the brace, you're like, I'm still gonna learn all this shit. Because if you had taken that time off to heal, because you said you did like the first 6 months with it on, 6 months behind the rest of the training class sets a lot of wrestlers back. But I love the fact that you stuck with it even with the brace to make sure that like you were getting it in there, like learning all this, like all the basics, all the intricacies, all of that. That's pretty fucking badass.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm kind of the madman of Idaho, really. I'm the guy that does the crazy stuff. So, for example, this last weekend, the Dia de los Niños, we're in a park, and it's a kid show. It's like an indie thing, nothing wrong with that. But we're in a park, and there's families all around us, and I'm the only guy pitching like, let's do an acai moonsault. Like, give me the baseball slide. We'll trade blows. Get me up on the apron. I'll springboard. I'll do the backflip to the outside. No problem. And everybody's looking at me like, we're in a park. You know that, right? We're in the grass. Yeah, yeah, sure. Let's do it. And so, I mean, and like to touch on the point, it was an injury, and I'm not trying to make light of it, but I knew that I wanted to fit in with these guys. If I go to a locker room, I want to be part of that locker room. And so I'm old school in that mentality where guys would get hurt and they would still make their date. And I had to go for it. If I was going to do it, I had to go for it,
That makes that's very interesting to hear because from my experiences talking to other independent wrestlers through DMs or whatnot, it does seem like they don't seem to enjoy the more smaller condensed crowds as much as they would enjoy like a 100 to 200 person venue, which I mean makes sense. You want the most people possible, but I guess my follow-up question here would be, what about the small crowds pushes you to really take those risks and make a name or a memory out of the 50, 60 people in those smaller crowds?
So I teach all of the wrestlers here, and something that I carry with myself too is that every match is like my WrestleMania match. And if it's a small crowd, especially, everything you do in the ring in that small crowd is going to be more absorbed.
Did we freeze? I think we might have froze.
I think he might have froze.
So we're gonna try to see if we can get him back in. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Technical difficulties,
Yeah.
it happens.
But also, Weaver, were we on a slight delay? Because when I started, like, it was like you were like 2 seconds later, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let him go.
I thought it was me. I thought it was on my end.
That's I love that.
That's why I came off to try and help the low.
I love this so far though. Like, it's given me insight that I've never had before. I love it. Let's bring the man back in. There we go.
So, sorry about that. Like, my phone popped up and said that it's getting warm.
Hey.
I was like, I've never seen that before. And then it just shut off my mobile data.
Oh wow.
But,
Trust me, I get it.
yeah,
This
I
shit hits
am
me too.
so sorry. I'm so sorry that happened, guys. I am
It's all
sorry.
good.
So,
No worries.
but the smaller crowds seem to absorb the action more because they're closer to the ring. It's cool, when you're in a 500-person venue because everybody's cheering. It's loud, it's big, more people see it. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes the smaller crowds you have more traction in a way because the kids absorb it, the parents absorb it. They really have that like whoa factor, and then you've really just made a lifetime fan of wrestling as opposed to somebody who's just I don't know going on a date night.
Yes, that is true. Um, what was it? Oh, so in your time in the ring, do you have like, for example, a Randy Orton to your John Cena, that person who it's like we could fight forever and it would still be good no matter what promotion we're doing it in, no matter what type of match, even if it's in a steel cage, we'll give them a banger. Even if it's in a my arms tied behind my back, you have one tied behind your back, still just that chemistry is there. Do you have one of those?
You know, I've got two of those. I've got two. One would be the guy who trained me, the Lost Soul Garabai here in Idaho. Him and I, we've traveled to California, we've gone to Oregon, we've done Utah. Here in Idaho, we can go anywhere and we can put on a banger of a match, a real match. And then the other guy being probably my best friend, the guy that I broke into the business with, James Grimm, who's living out in Florida at the moment. Anytime that him and I are together, we've got probably 24 matches against each other all over YouTube, all over the internet. Anytime him and I are together, tag team, one on one, it's going to be a good match.
There we go. There we go. I like that. Y'all got to the business together and you can have that one on one in the ring. That's See, I'm trying to find that person like who am I gonna take this journey with? Because I have a bunch of friends down here who we all do the wrestling watch parties at someone's house and we all talk about it like, man, I can't wait for that to be me. And I tell the guys this all the time. So if you walk outside of my bedroom patio right now and look across the
Okay.
street, you can see the building where Booker T has his training school. So it's like tempting
Really,
me every day. It's like it's calling my name. And soon
the
I need to
reality of
get there.
wrestling
You
school.
just gotta go, man.
Yes.
You just gotta
Yes.
go.
Literally is like 500
Oh,
yards away from my apartment. It's
well,
wild.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Can you handle having your nose broken by a super kick?
I'd say so. The closest I've had to it when I was in high school, I had suffered this injury playing a musical theater trivia game. I know, pretty wild. And I'm thinking, okay, it hurts really bad, but I'm fine. So I'm walking on it for a couple days. And when I finally get the x-rays back, they tell me, hey, your hip is broken. How are you walking right
Whoa!
now? And I was, and in that moment, the body, it was probably adrenaline for that long. And as soon as they told me, it all set in. And it's like, I immediately almost collapsed because it's like, oh God, my hip's broken. Why am I walking on it right now? I got lucky
Uh,
with it though, because I only had to be on crutches for 2 months, but it's still pretty wild.
yeah.
You know, a broken hip playing music trivia though, man, that's pretty hardcore. I'll give that to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, they laughed at me about it for weeks after that. It's like, how did you
Oh, wow.
do that? I'm just like, I don't know.
Madonna must have really had it that day, didn't she?
Uh,
But uh, but yeah, I get it. Injuries happen. I wrestled in high school myself, and my right knee has never been the fucking same.
yep,
I took
yep.
me and my friend were training one day, and I guess he decided he was going to try to do a crotch lift, and he got me up and then slipped and hit me with a neutralizer.
Ooh, yeah.
And I guess he thought, oh, if I let go of his legs, he'll land, right? Nope. I came down and I felt like I pushed my kneecap up my leg.
Oh
Oh,
God.
And I was just sitting there, I'm on the mat, and I'm like, bro. I'm like, I know you did not, like, you couldn't, like, just take me down with you at that point.
right? Yeah, just commit to the bump.
Yeah,
He was like, bro, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Went to a wrestling match later that day. I was not fine. I never got the knee checked out because our sports coach would take you out for an entire season if you stubbed your toe.
Oh,
Yep.
So
Yep.
I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Wrestled for the rest of the season. Got to do track. I couldn't run.
Oh man.
I still don't know what happened, but if I had to put money on it, I probably messed my meniscus up.
Yeah. Well, you know, I
See,
would have done the
I'm
same
not
thing
even.
though. I would have stuck it out. I would have done the same thing.
Right. I mean, it was sophomore year. I
That's my
wasn't trying
thing.
to get
I'm
kicked
not
off
even
the
worried
team.
about. Oh, you good? Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
you got
even
it,
worried
Weaver.
about pain wise because I've been doing haunt acting for 12 years now myself, and I've got bad bruised at this point from all of that stuff that I don't I'm good to just walk it off. I'll be fine.
I actually do want to transition this to a question. In my very minimal pro wrestling training, my least favorite bump is the German suplex.
Oh.
I don't think people pay people enough to take those bumps. They suck so bad. But if you had to pick one, what's like your least favorite bump?
I would say the choke slam.
Oh.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. That's probably my least favorite. Imagine if you were if a big guy is giving you a choke slam, you're high enough in the air that you're just above the top rope, laying flat, and then you fall straight onto your back. Most of the time, he's pushing you down.
Ugh.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah, I would have to think if a wrestler's like 6'1", 6'2", when you go to post up, you're a little bit above their head. So that's like a good 6'5" fall just straight to your back. That's
Damn.
terrible.
Yep.
See,
No, that's a good question. That was fun.
as a wrestling fan, for some reason, and I don't think any of the bumps are easy, but I always thought I feel like the German suplex might be the easiest one to take. But you just because I've seen the Brock ones, and even though he's strong, it just looks like he sets them down easily. But now that you say it, I'm replaying them all in my head. I'm just like, oh god, I was so fucking wrong. I was so
The
wrong.
only German suplex that kind of doesn't hurt as bad is when they don't let you go, because at least you kind of get like a flat landing. They let you go.
See, those are the ones I was
Pray
thinking
to
of.
God.
Okay.
If you get released, just pray to God, because your neck and your shoulders is never feeling the same.
If I ever got hit with a release German, I feel like instinctually I'd be like, okay, tuck the neck. But somehow my body would be like, you said tilt back, and now I'm just hoping.
It got to the point where right before the guy stopped training me and scammed me out my money, different story, I think TJ knows. I just started flipping off the end when people let me go. I'm like, I'd rather take the front bump at this point.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
the front butts. Those look so cool to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on who gives you the German. If a guy's doing like a back bridge, it's a pretty soft bump. But if they're trying to throw you across the ring, yeah, you're in for a bad time.
So I wanna switch it up a little bit. So you being a masked superstar, give us your top 5 dream masked opponents of all time. It could be past,
like
present. If you think some are gonna be in the future, whoever.
Okay. Let's see. I think I've got to start with like Psychosis, old school WCW, like 1996, 97 Psychosis, before they took his mask.
I don't ever hear anyone say Psychosis. I love this already.
Yes.
Oh man, like that's one of my favorites. That's like I for lack of a better term, marked out when WCW started using him because I would watch the AAA product and then boom, Psychosis. What? Super Callow. Oh, and then I guess to keep in that vein, I would go with Hoovy Juice, man, Juventud Guerrera. And then I'd want to go old school with like Mil Mascara. Yeah, like one of the because there's a lot of tradition around wearing a mask in the Mexican culture, and he's like the forefather of masked wrestling. You know, he's the guy that started the legend that the masked wrestlers in Mexico would wear the mask because it was frowned upon to be a wrestler. And so they would wear the mask when they would go wrestle, so nobody would know who they were and they wouldn't be shunned by their family. Number two, let's go with a little new school. I'd go with, it's tough there because I know definitely who my number one is, but for number two, I would go with like Pentagon Jr.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a
You know,
tough match too.
It's gotta be a tie with like Fennec, the Lucha Bros. You know what I mean? Like, because they're both on the same level. It's just any match that they're in is phenomenal. But my number one, if I could wrestle him in his heyday, would be Conan.
Oh,
because he's probably one of the greatest minds.
Oh,
You know, for lucha wrestling, you know, Mexican wrestling. He was one of the masterminds behind Lucha Underground when it first started. That was one of his brain babies. You know, but he's still promoting wrestling and he's still bringing wrestlers across the border. And to be able to have wrestled him or even just have him beat me up, you know, that'd be a dream come true.
I love that because I guarantee you, when everyone watches this and they're listening to the list, they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's got to be Rey Mysterio."
Yeah, I was
it's gotta be. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I was thinking too. I was like, "Oh, it's Rey, right?" I was like, "I feel like it's Rey."
Of course, it's Rey.
I love the Conan though because he's one that a lot of newer wrestlers probably don't know too much about, and hell, their first time seeing him might have been at Rey's induction ceremony at the Hall of Fame, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So to hear you say Conan is your number one is fucking awesome.
I'd personally, I'd want to wrestle Filthy Animals Conan.
Yeah. Yep.
See,
But
for me,
I
you know,
like
I'll
the
take Tiger Mask.
I'll take any Conan. You know, like LWO Conan. Right when the New World Order split and became Latino World Order.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, jeez. I mean, but that was when I was a kid, like watching wrestling, and I couldn't get enough of it. You know, it was like, so, jeez.
All right, so I have another one for you. This one was kind of inspired by how Ryan Satin does his. He does the whole favorite time you given a finisher, least favorite time, and best one. So I want to switch that up a little bit. I want to ask you, what is the favorite finisher that you've taken, one that you would love to take from any time period, and a dream opponent that you would want to hit your finisher on?
Oh, man. Oh, that's such a hard question. My favorite finisher that I've taken. Holy cow. You know, I can't. Okay. There's a guy that I wrestle with in Utah. His name is Josh Glade. And he doesn't get to do it very much. But I brought him from Utah into Idaho. And him and I wrestled. And I let him hit his moonsault on me. And he's the guy that, like the choke slam guy that we were talking about earlier. He's like 6'3", 350 pounds. So to have him come off of the top rope and like let him relive out his dream was worth it to me.
Love that.
I was gonna say, I've seen Josh Glade wrestle now a couple of times, but wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and it's one of those things that he always asks, and everybody says, "No, man, I don't feel comfortable doing it, man." But I brought him over, and I was like, "Okay, there's one thing that we are going to do before we talk about anything else, and it's the moonsault." Oh, yeah. You know? So
nice. Dream opponent that you would love to hit your finisher on.
Dream opponent that I would love to hit my finisher on. Okay. So I do a variation of the Death Valley Driver. I call it Outlaw Valley Driver. You know, I would like to hit it on somebody like Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, he'd sell the fuck out of it.
He's not gonna sandbag, you know, just flop on your shoulders and make me do all the work. We're actually gonna work together. we're gonna take the bump. He's gonna sell the hell out of it. I'm gonna sell the hell out of it. It would just be like it'd be the best one.
Mm. And then I forgot what I said the last one was. Um,
I think we jumped out of order.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think we did. I was saying, yeah. Um, ooh, least favorite finisher you've taken.
Oh, the least favorite finisher I've taken. Um, okay. Now it's gonna seem like a simple move, but it's the like scorpion drop, the reverse DDT.
Mm,
And a lot of times when you're traveling on the road, you don't get to like meet guys ahead of time. It's just kind of, hey, the promoter wants to see you wrestle so and so, and you shake hands, you kind of talk about a few things, and then it's off to the races. And that was his finisher. And I always want to hit. I always want the guys to hit their finishers, and I want to sell the shit out of it because I believe that selling is not dead, no matter what old school guy says what. Anyways, that reverse DDT, the way that you have to like back arch into it, and if the guy doesn't open up his arm just enough or whatever, peel back the curtain, you know what I mean? You're
yeah.
taking it straight to the dome. On a regular DDT, there's ways to protect yourself, and there's ways to do it to make it look more vicious. But on the back, on that reverse DDT, that scorpion drop, there's not a lot of ways to do it unless you feel like doing a backflip to the top of your head.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and not. I don't think there's a way to really get your forearm down when you're not looking.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. You just got to back bridge and take it and hope that the guy isn't pulling you down.
Mm. All right. Weaver, do you or Zay have any other questions before I hit this final one?
I actually have a closing
No,
segment
go
I
ahead,
want to
man.
do.
All
Well,
right.
no questions off limits. Whatever you guys want to ask, I'm game.
All right. I'll hit my question. I'll let you do the closing, Zay.
All right.
So we've entered a day and age where people are putting more emphasis on mental health, and I fucking love that. Um, and as a wrestler, as a traveling wrestler, who you just told us sometimes 8 to 10 hour drives, how do you deal with those dark days, and how do you cope with it and keep pushing?
Well, I to be honest, to be 100% honest, I just recently started taking my mental health more seriously. And so for like the last couple of years, it was really tough, and I just, for some reason, believed that everybody was down on me, that it just wasn't as good as it used to be, and so on and so forth. But I just really started taking it seriously just recent. And a lot of that, honestly, is I like to sing along to music. You know what I mean? Like heavy metal, I scream my head off. I try and hit that murder yell. I try and do the deep guttural roll as much as I
Yeah.
can. If I'm really feeling myself. And then other days I might sing along to a Rihanna. Come and be under my umbrella. Like because I never thought about it, but one of my other wrestling buddies recommended it to me. Instead of cutting promos and being angry and thinking about shoot, I should have said this. You know, just like let it go and just yell it out. And so I just put on some tunes. It is like really helped. It almost when I'm done singing a song and an hour has gone by, seems like, and I have like it hasn't even been an hour, but the hour has gone by, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
First things first, I would like to commend you for taking your mental health so seriously. I understand that it is difficult for men in this day and time to really come to terms with their mental health and properly address it and confront it. So, of course, you are more man, and I'm very proud of you for doing that. And,
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that real quick before I move into this much goofier segment to close out the show. Um,
The master of the segue.
God.
Now, as you know, we are content creators. We try to do TikToks and whatnot, and me and TJ fancy ourselves really good talkers. So what I want
Okay.
to do as this closing segment is, me and TJ would like to cut a promo on you, and then you rate them 1 out of 10, and then give us who you thought was the best one.
Okay. Okay. I like this. I like this.
TJ,
I,
would
I
you
love
please
I
start?
love a good promo. I love a good
You
promo.
can tell TJ was scared at all.
Yes, I will. Give me 1 second.
I didn't tell them about any of this, so
That's the best way to do it. Oh, is that the big gold? Is that the big gold belt?
Yes, it is. I went to mute the camera because it was supposed to be a surprise, and then I realized I did the mic instead. All right, all right. First of all, people ask me all the time, "What's gonna happen when you face Rusty Livings? You've never faced anybody like him." Yeah, but he's also never faced a TJ Gatsby. See, that's the thing. Like other wrestlers claim to be, I am actually cut from a different cloth. And this cloth is something Rusty Livings has never seen before. All right, when we step in that ring, I'm not going to be your run of the mill indie wrestler. No, obviously, I am something different as I'm holding this main event world championship. Just pretend, Weaver. This means that in at least one promotion, I am better than everybody else in that locker room. And I don't take that lightly. So when I step in the ring with Rusty Livings, not only am I stepping in the ring with him, but I'm stepping in the ring with the weight of that entire company on my shoulders, the weight of my trainers, the weight of my parents, the weight of myself. I cannot fail. I will not fail. When I step in that ring with you, Rusty Livings, you were not getting TJ Gatsby. No, you were getting TJ Webb, a man who is here to earn his way, a man who is here to make a name for himself and will do any damn thing he has to make it come true. I am the mountain, and in this business, everybody tries to climb it, and most end up as landmarkers on the way to the top. So take your pick at where you want to land, Rusty. I'll be waiting. Boom.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad. I like it. I like it. All right, Jay. Let's hear what you got. Let's hear what you got.
Hey. Hello, people of the world. As y'all know, I have an upcoming match with the Outlaw Rusty Livings. Now, personally, I look forward to every match I am in because I enjoy nothing more than the violence and mutilation that comes with the great sport of professional wrestling. And it makes it even better that I am, of course, the greatest MEP Intercontinental Champion in history. No one's on my level. No one has touched my skill. And yet, I'm giving everyone the opportunities. I'm giving everyone the chance to really show themselves and their talents. I just wish people like Outlaw Rusty Livings just had a little bit more in the tank. Just a little bit more finesse, a little bit more charisma, a little bit more talent. Because then, we could be on a level playing field. We could truly have fun in this great world of professional wrestling while I dominate everyone else. I wish I had an equal. But that's neither here nor there. Livings. Okay, Livings, bitch. Either way, right? Livings, doesn't really matter because both have an L and he's going to be the loser. Now, as I said, Rusty, I hope you have the best night of sleep before. I hope you have the best time getting to that ring. I hope you love the fans cheering your name, and I hope your family loves seeing you in that ring because it'll be the last time. There will be nothing else for you to do after this. You will be exposed. You will be annihilated. And you will be marked off the list of the many, many, many wrestlers who couldn't spend the night with the true man, Z-A-Y.
Oh,
I
pretty
thought
good.
I thought you did it on purpose at first. I was like, okay, he's using it. He said it
Oh no,
again. I
I
was like,
knew exactly what was going on. I knew it. I knew. I got you. I got you.
I was
So
you threw me off when you messaged me too, TJ. You should have just let me run with it.
okay, here's the question: were you saying it like by accident at first until you got cued in, or what?
It was by accident, yeah.
Oh, well, it was a happy accident then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I had to grade them, if I had to grade it, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with Zay. Would be my pick, and only because TJ, like at first your promo was heel and it was good, but at first your promo was heel, and then you started talking like that, you're the underdog and you're fighting up almost, and then you went back to heel, and it just seemed kind of, I don't know, hard to follow in that way.
Mm.
Because if you're cutting a promo, if you're cutting an effective promo like Zay, I could tell that he was heel the whole time, and I thought that the lemon thing was intentional. Yeah, because I've had somebody call me Roscoe Coltrane. Oh, your name's Rusty Livings? I had no idea. You know, and so I thought that was intentional, and to me, that's a heel move right off the bat. But I got to say though that like TJ in your promo, I really liked the comment about being at the top of the mountain and where was my marker gonna lie? Because a good promo, like a mark of a good promo, is being able to give your opponent something, anything to say back to you, especially if you're going to exchange promos. And so, TJ, you may be at the top of the mountain, but what you're neglecting to think about is that Mount Everest is already littered with the dead bodies of those who couldn't make it to the top. And here I am, I've got my opportunity to take one more step to the top. So where's my marker going to lie? Even if I don't make this, even if you are the better competitor than I am, my marker is still going to be right behind you. And I'm going to constantly be a reminder that you almost fell off of that mountain. And I'm never going to leave until I kick you off the top of that mountain, TJ. You're cut from a different cloth. Well, by the time that we're done, your cloth is going to be cut in half anyway. So, like a good promo, you gave me plenty to talk about.
Rusty
And so
fucking Livings, everybody! Holy shit!
uh,
God.
Effortless
and so,
transition too.
Right?
well, no, hold on. Now, Zay, I get it. You, Rusty Lemons, I know. Okay, I'm too sweet to be sour. Zay, that's why your eyes are so squinty, right? Because you're eating the lemon, you're getting the taste. But that's okay. I listened to everything you had to say, and there really wasn't much flavor to anything that you've got. You're a competitor, you're a title holder, and you're gonna step in the ring with Rusty Living. And I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm stepping in the ring with you. And when I step in the ring with you, it's not just Outlaw versus Zay. It's Outlaw versus everybody that Zay beat. And that's how I step into the fight. I'm not just fighting one man. I'm fighting a man that has potentially beat 100 men. And you're going to add my check mark to your list? Well, you better be ready to add 2, 3, 4, 5 check marks. Because I'm going to keep coming back until you have no more pages left in your book. And then it's time for a new chapter, the Outlaw chapter. Because when I see something I want, I'm going to come for it. And if I can't have it, I'll take it. It's the Outlaw way.
That was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Outlaw Rusty Livings. before we go, do you have anything you want to promote? I know you talked about May Day beforehand. Do you want to reiterate that for everybody?
This weekend in Salt Lake City, Utah. Doors at 6 p.m., show at 7. Devotion Championship Wrestling brings to you wrestling fans May Day, May Day, May Day. And that's what I'm going to be screaming as I leap off of the top rope with the Outlaw 5-star frog splash. May Day! Be there. You're not going to want to miss it.
There we go, everybody. Rusty Livings, one more time, give it up for him. Rusty, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being our
Thank you
inaugural
guys
guest.
for having me. This has been an awesome experience. I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you for letting me be your first episode. Thank you for letting me pop your cherry.
No problem. And before we go, because I already know I'm gonna use this for our videos a lot. Can we get you to say really quickly, welcome to the main event?
Welcome to the main event.
Yeah!
Yes,
Thank you, Rusty. Thank you so much
Let's
for your
go.
time today. Y'all heard him, everybody.
Thank you,
This
guys.
weekend, Devotion Championship Wrestling. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Be there. Thank you so much, Rusty. And for
Thank
everyone
you.
else, if you've never seen one of our videos, we like to end it with a little gift for y'all. So bring in the handsome devil. It is I, the visionary, the revolutionary, the messiah of Wrestle Talk, TJ freaking Gatsby, thanking you for watching our video. Now, if you want to see more of myself and the main event players, go ahead and scan that QR code right there. It'll take you right to our Linktree with all our socials. Now, as always, thank you for joining the main event. Goodbye and good night.